Niners! Yeah! The fat lady has not sang yet. This season is not over. We can still determine our fate. Look at the NFC West. We play Oakland next week. The Hawks play Philadelphia. We could be 8-5 again as early as next week. And I say that because the race for the wild card, and that's what it is, because Arizona's already won this division, okay? They're going to win it. But next week, and I could be wrong about that too, but it's going to come down between Dallas and Philadelphia. One of them is going to win the division. The other one is going to plummet. I'm picking Dallas because from what we seen last week or for Thanksgiving, you know Dallas is now vulnerable. That was no fluke. They are beatable, right? And then you've got Green Bay and Detroit. One of those teams is going to win the division. The other one is going to be the wild card. I'm figuring Green Bay is playing out of their minds right now, and Detroit will come in behind them as the other wild card. So all we've got to do is beat Seattle out, and then we are the other wild card. NFC South, please. No need to discuss that any further. This is why I still feel confident. And as far as Kaep goes, everybody's all over him. Man, I can't pile on him. Do you know when Kaep was out there throwing, he was repping us. He was going after Sherman. How many of us want to see Richard Sherman get his handed to him? Every last one of us, right? I ain't mad at him, just for that reason. Granted, he should have picked another target, but I know what he was trying to do. And if he would have succeeded, we'd be loving him to death. Something else, too. Stevie Johnson has had better luck against Richard Sherman than a lot of receivers in the league. He should have been deployed in that game right from the very beginning. I just found out about that. I didn't know that was why Stevie Johnson was brought over. Why did we not do that? And another thing. Stop with trying to make Kaepernick a pocket passer. He's not. It is obvious at this point, this late in the season, that Colin Kaepernick needs to be able to freelance just a little bit. He's been trying to adhere to this program the whole season. It's not going to work. That's not who he is. I kept looking at Russ Wilson rolling out of the pocket and watching the 49er defense just disintegrate. The secondary it was just terrible. And then I imagined, what would it be like to put Kaepernick in that system? He'd be awesome. He's just as good a runner as Wilson. He maybe makes decisions a little less accurate, but not that much. His rushing would have been an asset in this game. You have to throw a defense like that off. You can't sit back and watch the jerseys come down on Kaepernick like we did the entire game. That was just ridiculous. And when was the last time we seen Colin do the Kaepernicking? It's been a while. This is why I'm concerned with his confidence level. He's probably sitting in a shrink's office right now trying to get that eye of the tiger back again. And if he loses that, we're all in trouble. He hasn't Kaepernicked all season long. He's not, this is not his system, Greg Roman. Oh, did I say? Greg, can't you see that this doesn't apply to Colin Kaepernick? Can't you modify the system so it works on him? What is wrong with you? Wow. You seen that note, right? That little note that Trent Baalke's daughter put out? It was so accurate. I mean, Cassie Baalke, daughter of Trent, right? She put out a tweet after the game. She was caught up in emotion just like the rest of us. And let me quote, Greg Roman can take a hike. The 49ers don't want you anymore. Now, Trent immediately goes out and he apologizes for his daughter. He then uses that, well, he apologized to Greg Roman for reasons I don't understand why, because it was the truth. He then takes that as a teachable moment and he cancels Cassie's Twitter account. But you and I both know that Trent probably went, oh, yo, baby girl, come here. Here, just take my credit card and go have a good time, okay? Good for you, okay? But I got to tell everybody how I disciplined my child. That was such a good moment, and it was well-deserved. You see, here's Greg Roman's inadequacies. He doesn't know how to modify the program. Okay, the read option's in fashion. But can't you see that it's not working? It's time to make the program apply to Kaep, not vice versa. It's not going to work. And we sit up and we watch him struggle and struggle and struggle, and it's almost too late. This is why people are still a little upset with Jim Harbaugh. You're going to be mad at Jim Harbaugh. You've got to give him glory also for the fact that Vic Fangio, the other side of the ball, is doing just fine. Fangio he's been plagued with injuries and everything else all season long, but that defense still ranks as number 2 in the league. That's what I'm talking about. Greg Roman, okay. Greg has had Daniel Kilgore left him. Granted, Marcus Martin is a rookie. He's not going to fill those shoes. Daniel was a signal caller on the offensive line who could read defenses and, of course, set up the offensive line to make adjustments. We all get that. But it's still about a lot of the things that Greg Roman does. His timing on certain plays make no sense. Why, if the offensive line can't hold, then why aren't you dropping the ball off to Frank Gore on little short routes? He can catch the ball. You got to break the defense down. Why is it that I can tell, and a lot of other 49er fans can tell, but Greg can't? 49er fans, let me ask you another question. Who would you pick out? I have not been investigating that carefully. Who would you pick out as a new OC to take over for the 49ers and somebody who could work with the talent we have? I just don't know. I've been trying to think of that, and I don't even know where we go. A lot of people are going to universities and colleges, but the best OCs are already working. So what are we going to do? Man, and it's Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis has been missing all season long. It makes me wonder, do we have too many offensive weapons? What is it that all of a sudden our deep threat can't find his way? Okay, that was the Hawks. But how about those other teams that he just can't seem to get loose? Is he still hurt? What is the problem? He is one of the most important things about what makes the 49ers work. We've been to the NFC playoffs 3 times with this team. I don't want to hear any more about Kaep not being adequate. It's not him. Vernon Davis, he's not here. Why? It's the program. It's time to switch it. Switch it, not switch the entire team. Get rid of Greg Roman, and you gotta believe that's gotta be it. Gotta be it. All right, now, finally, I'd like to say something about that man, Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman goes out of his way, and I don't know that he does this with any other team in the league. Richard Sherman goes out of his way just to taunt and antagonize the 49ers. I don't know what it is other than the fact that I understand that between him and Harbaugh at Stanford, Jim did not give him high praise. As the scouts were looking, he did not say anything nice. There's bad blood, apparently. It's been a while. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But the constant aggravation of the team, and now he's gone as far as to now go after the fans. Going after the fans. Blowing kisses. A fan threw a bottle at him. And what does he say in response to that? He says, 49er fans have no class. Compared to the Seattle fans. But if we remember, wasn't it the Seattle fans who were throwing popcorn as in last year's playoffs, Bowman is being carted off the field? Maybe that represents class in the Richard Sherman book. Here's what's come down to. Richard Sherman eating turkey in the middle of the 49ers field. on our logo, Richard Sherman enjoying turkey with Russell Wilson. Just having a wonderful time. 49er fans, it's come down to this. It's no longer just beating Richard Sherman. This is now vendetta. He's got to be dealt with. It's no longer just a game. It's no longer business. This is personal. In 2 weeks, the 49ers have got to deal with Richard Sherman. And I hope that the coaching staff has made it priority one to first make sure to post photos all over the locker room. Make sure that Richard Sherman's name echoes through their minds each and every day during practice, when they're home relaxing, when they go to bed at night. The last face they should see should be that of Richard Sherman. Want him bad. Beat Oakland first, but Richard Sherman. I want to thank my subscribers. Appreciate the conversation. Oh, I tell you, I really do. Talking to you about the games made me feel so much better afterward. Come on over. Twitter fans, Instagram, also Facebook. I've set up a page where we can chat and talk. So come on over. Just type in Ronbo Sports on Facebook. It'll take you right to my page, and we can talk about Richard Sherman and other things. But you know what? We got to make sure to play Oakland coming up next week, because we cannot lose that game, and we've already seen what they can do. I got a song picked out for the Raiders. Let me get that music. Yeah, man, because we're going to win that game next week. And as I said, 8-5. Isn't that nice?